Welcome to our third class of the day, which is for under 1700. Very suspicious. Is it 17 or 1750? And nobody knows. Okay, and today, due to popular demand, we're going to talk about a match that I played on the internet 2 weeks ago. Again, was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know.
That's about right.
I have no idea what it was. When was it, October 3rd? Yeah, so it was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. 14, carry the 1. Well, okay, 6 weeks ago for you, but yeah, for you at home. And that was against your favorite grandmaster, Simon Williams, right? Also known as Ginger GM for obvious reasons. Now, we're going to do some analysis of the blunders and the not blunders. And in the last game, everybody will have a good laugh, right? You know the match I'm talking about?
He played the Dutch in one of these games, didn't he?
Well, okay, it's Dutch in most of the games, yeah. Okay, and there's 2 openings I hate. Openings that are intolerant of other openings and the Dutch. Okay, exactly. Right, and the kids got that. And even that guy got it. Okay, so let's go in order. There were actually, I'm confused. I tried to get all the games. Now, did we play 960? Like ever?
I once did.
Yeah, I think we played, but those games weren't there, and I copied a game twice, so I don't know what's going on here. Now, I won 15.5 to 10.5, so we played 26 games, but it could be that 1, 2, or 3 of those games were 960, so my chess base can't read them because castling and stuff. So, okay, well, anyway, I have a lot of games, so we'll start here. Okay, now, this is very interesting because after D4, he played E6, and I'll have a long talk about that because I get paid by the hour. There are people whose opening repertoire is to play the Dutch and the French, and the reason is they play E6 when they play the Dutch. A lot of people who play the Dutch don't play E6, they play G6, which, as you know, is called the Leningrad Dutch. Unless you like shuffleboard, then what's it called? St. Petersburg. Did you get any of that? That was a complicated joke. No? You still didn't get it? Well, Leningrad used to be called St. Petersburg, and then the Shuffleboard Hall of Fame's in St. Petersburg, Florida. Yeah. Right? You knew that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Is it called Leningrad now or St. Petersburg? I forgot. I think it's called St. Petersburg again, isn't it?
St. Petersburg,
Yeah, it was like St. Petersburg, then Leningrad, then St. Petersburg. The one in the Soviet Union now, which doesn't exist either. Man, tough town. Town doesn't exist, country doesn't exist. Wow. Okay, so here's the point. And the point doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm innocent. Some people who play the Dutch don't want to face the Staunton Gambit, which is what move?
E4.
E4. So they play E6, and then when you play C4, then they play F5. Okay, so I play E4, but they don't care because they play the French anyway. Now, when I'm white into French, there's 2 moves that I make, and they both involve the E-pawn. There's the advanced French, which I play, and there's the exchange French. When I play the exchange French, I'm actually not playing for a draw, I'm playing a line that I like. And the line that I like is to play C4 very quickly. But my opponent tricked me. Also, it was blitz chess, I didn't really care. He played bishop G4. Now, I have a very funny story. There was a game played about a year ago between Priyadarshan, the Indian grandmaster who lives in St. Louis, and Tatev Abrahamian, the women's grandmaster who lives in Glendale? Yeah, Glendale, California. And they played in St. Louis, and she plays the French every game, and he plays weird every game. He plays whatever he wants. So what's funny was he told me that he prepared for the game, and he only looked at bishop G4 as white. He thought my opponent's going to play bishop G4 here. And I was like, I've never faced bishop G4. I've had this position like a million times. That was the only move he looked at, and she played bishop G4. And he played all of his preparation, and she thought forever, and he won. Anyway, now I'm facing bishop G4. It's a blitz game. So. Okay, so I played very, very aggressively, even though in theory the exchange French is boring. Nothing is boring. Okay, now here I got cold feet. So I got like a hairdryer, and then I warmed my feet up. Yeah, everyone liked that one. Okay, and after here, my plan when I played queen e2 check was to do what tactical move? It's tactical. What move was I going to make?
Queen B5.
Queen b5 check, which forks the king and the b pawn. And I was like, should I play h3, g4, then move my queen every move? And I was like, I probably should develop my pieces. Okay, so we developed our pieces. Okay, and I took the bishop, which the computer doesn't like, but says it's okay. And the computer says this is about equal. Okay, and now I wanted to be the first player in the match to move my h-pawn. I already played h3, so now I played h4. Get the psychological advantage of my opponent, right, who likes to move his h-pawn. Okay, and the computer again says this is like equal position and unclear. He played bishop b4. I played rook d3, defending my knight. Played rook e8. I keep retreating. Bishop c3 is probably not the best move, but it's okay. Anyway, the game is getting, now the game got really exciting. Rawr! Look at us, we're all playing crazy, right? Isn't that fun? Good for the spectators. Okay. And then here he played c5, which I think the computer doesn't like. I took, he took. So now I got a big attack over here, and he's got a big attack over here, and people say we don't play well. But it's exciting, right? Okay. And I took on c5. And now, after this, I didn't see a good square for my rook. I didn't want to waste time. And here's why. I always yell at everybody when they play b3 and don't play bishop b2, that I played b3 and didn't play bishop b2. Do what I say, not what I do. And you might say, why is it bad to play b3 and not play bishop b2? Well, this is how you learn at chess. b3 weakens what square? You're good.
B2.
Close.
C3 as well.
c3, yeah. Now c3 is not defended. And his knight can go to c3, but my rook's defending c3. So it looks good, right? Well, he's attacking my rook. If my rook moves away, he can go to c3. And I didn't like that. He's getting all up in my grill. So I did a lecture like 2 or 3 weeks ago about sacrificing the exchange, so let's do that. So queen g4, let's go mate him. I think actually the computer doesn't take the rook, I forgot, but okay, still good for him. Now he made a move the computer does not like. He played queen c8, which makes a lot of sense, because if I checkmate him, that would be good. If I have the 2 bishops, that's good. But if he plays queen c3, man, that looks pretty scary, right? And if we trade queens, he's up the exchange. But I don't want him to play queen c3. So I traded queens and I took a pawn. So I have a pawn for the exchange, and his pawn structure is very suspicious. And I have the 2 bishops. So my position's okay. Okay, now here he made a mistake. He played knight c3. It looks good, especially in a blitz game, because it attacks 2 things. But I played bishop d7, and now I was very confused. Knight takes a2, I think, is also a mistake. Okay, now I was confused. I thought, and I was incorrect, of course, that he could just move his rook. But now that I look at it, he can't move his rook. And the reason is, if he moves his rook vertically, somewhere up and down the board, I go check, and then I go check, and then I take his rook. Yeah? Yeah. And if he moves his rook sideways, then I go check, and if he plays king f8, I go check, and then he's going to get mated. So I was surprised he played king f7, but king f7 actually makes sense, because bishop e6 check is annoying. Okay? So king f7 is okay. Now I should take his rook. I made a really bad move here. I played rook here. I thought he would play knight b4, and he played knight b4. But he shouldn't play knight b4. Okay, he should make a counterattack. He should play rook c7. And then I'm just losing him down the exchange. Yeah. So the rook a1 was terrible, but then he went here, so now I'm doing great. Okay, now I did something you've never heard of, a Zwischenzug. They're not complaining very much.
I've heard of
Yeah, you're supposed to complain more, like you especially.
Why?
Because you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's supposed to say, what? I've heard of a Zwischenzug. Man, she was the only one who complained. Good job. Okay, and here, most people would take a pawn and give a pawn, right? Those people go to Denny's a lot, because they take a penny and leave a penny, right?
Yeah, but you can go c3.
That's right. And after I played c3, he was pissed off, so we say c3 po. c3 po. No, nothing? Now they got it. Okay, now he moved his knight. Yum, yum, yum. Now, instead of being down the exchange, I'm up a pawn. Plus, he has doubled pawns. Plus, I have a passed pawn. I'm not done. Plus, he has an isolated pawn. Plus, my bishop's probably better than his knight. He only has 1 chance. It's a blitz game, so I'll blunder every move, so it doesn't matter. But I didn't blunder every move as he expected. So the rest of the game was pretty reasonable. I looked at these games with an engine yesterday, and look, the moves weren't great, but they were okay. Like, white played fine. Look, 2 pawns now, and 2 pawns up, I'm pretty good. Yeah. Okay, and then he blundered in this position, I think. He played king e4, walking into where my rook is. Yeah, don't do that. So now what did I do?
Bishop d4.
Yeah, that wins the piece, right?
Yeah.
So he resigned. So that game didn't make a lot of sense. I played a boring opening, then I castled opposite sides, pushed all my pawns, sacked in exchange, a little unsound. Got a worse ending, and won the worse ending by him playing knight b4 after rook a1. That's a blitz game, give me a break. Okay, so that game was very interesting for the spectators. I can't talk about the banter because there's children here. Right? How old are you?
17.
Oh, then I can talk about it. Rawr! And then you two added up is 17, right? If you add up your 2 ages, how old are you?
16.
Yeah, that's good enough. Are you twins?
No.
Are you 9 and 7?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And you're 9?
No, I'm
You should have said 9. That would have been a funny answer. When you speak German, you'll get that joke. Okay, let's go to the next game. What? All right, so I had the black pieces. Now, if you're a child, you have to look away. Because he played h4 on move 1. And he's a grandmaster. Now you know why you're not a grandmaster. You don't play h4 on move 1. Can I help you?
A 1000 guy played that
And who won?
in a chess club.
Against you?
No, against my dad.
And who won?
My dad?
Yeah, right. You with some crazy comment.
An opponent played with me h4 that is unrated and he lost by...
So when you watched your dad play h4 lost, when you played h4 lost, and when I played h4 lost. Now I have to tell you a funny story because it kills time. I was in a car with a grandmaster you've never heard of. You two have a chance. I'm going to say one of you heard of him. Mikhail Gurevich. We both heard of him? What? What world is this? Okay, Mikhail Gurevich, there's a very long story about him being the 3rd best player in the world and then tragedy struck. A chess tragedy, not real tragedy. And then he wasn't good anymore. Anyway, I was friends with him because he lived in Belgium for a while when I did. And we drove to a tournament. It was a blitz tournament. It was a very strong blitz tournament. Like, it was really strong. And he actually won, I think. And I, somewhere in the middle, but a lot of GMs and IMs. Anyway, on the way there, we're listening to Abbey Road by the Beatles, and he was singing, so that was fun. But more fun was him explaining to me that h4 lost by force. So he claimed, and this was like 1989, that h4 loses. He said if both sides play perfect, white is losing. Now I don't agree with that, but he was serious, and he's better than me, so I don't know. And he said, black just plays e5, f5, knight f6, and he's winning. And I was like, all right. You!
After h4, my dad's opponent played rook h3.
Right, probably he wasn't a grandmaster.
He wasn't.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Okay, so I played e5, and he played h5. Okay, now, the game was sort of silly. Now, this is very funny. You guys at home are laughing, but it's a true story. You can turn your engines on. So obviously, black can play something like c5. Okay, I played h6, and you're like, h6, that's ridiculous. And the computer says h6 is a good move. That's one of the moves that holds the advantage. It likes h6. Yeah, because this pawn's no good, and then my knight can go here, he won't pin me, and he can't play h6. So h6 is fine. Okay, and then it says that black's a little bit better here. G3 is not a good move. Okay, and I advance to the center and develop my pieces. Okay, and now, this is really good. In this position, you could say, well, his pieces are all in the back row, and you castled and developed your pieces, you should crush him. I agree. You turn the engine on, it says I'm winning. I'm not, but you have to get all your pieces out Morphy style. So what did I do?
Bishop g4.
Bishop g4 is a good move. I played bishop f5. I like your move too. Knight d2 is not a good move. Rook e8. Uh-oh. Looking good. Knight c4, knight d5, attacking his f-pawn. Queen c1, defending his f-pawn. D3. You saw him attacking his king?
Yeah.
Knight E5, I took on E2. F6, never play F6. Not only never play F6, the computer says F6 is a bad move. But it's a blitz game, so I can get away with anything. Okay, he traded, and he played King F1. Why did he play King F1? Who's good around here?
Put
Jack.
up the pin.
Yeah. Yeah, he broke, his bishop's pinned. So if it was black's turn, bishop D3 is probably reasonable. And queen E7 is probably reasonable. So he's like, king F1, I'll move my bishop. Now, these pawns are on dark squares. So that means all of his white squares are undefended. Except I'm lying. What's defending his white squares?
This light square
His
bishop.
bishop.
His light squared bishop. So exchange sacrifice every game. Now, I want to yell at you at home. You at home, you were like, well, here's what I think's going to happen because I'm super intelligent. I think if the games are wild and crazy, Simon will win. And if they're really boring, then Ben will win. Right? Remember all that? Right? I sacrificed the exchange in the first game, castled opposite sides, and I won. Right? And in this game, I sacrificed the exchange.
Yeah, I thought you would do rook takes into just.
So I played exciting chess, and everybody's like, oh, Finegold, boring. Okay, now I have a white squared bishop, and he doesn't. Now you might say, sacrifice the exchange, oh no! Well, that's his rook. I mean, are you kidding me? What kind of rook is that? Is that rook active in the game? No.
No.
So he takes. Bishop G4. By the way, the computer says the best move is rook takes E2. Yeah. Now I have a lot of good moves here. In fact, the engine says this is the best move. Yeah, confusing the audience. I think if he takes, I go check, and then I think black is better. Now they don't shake, they're like, oh, I agree with that. Yeah, that's pretty, now you could castle either way. Which way's more illegal? They're equally illegal, right? It's equal. Well, yes,
Oh,
he's answering that question.
he can't
Why not?
because both sides, the queen is defending.
Oh, also, did he move his king already, like 3 times?
Yeah.
Also, is he in check?
Yeah.
So there's 3 reasons why he can't castle. He's in check, through check, and he moved his king. So my question was, which one's more illegal? I think it's the same, right?
It's the same, but castling queenside would be worse.
Oh, because I still have mate in 1?
Yeah.
Castling kingside, he's winning. Castling queenside, I'm still winning. Yeah, that's funny. So if you're going to cheat, do it right. Okay, so anyway, I didn't do that because I didn't see that. I played bishop G4, which is still winning. He played queen D1. I checked. And he resigned, which shocked me. A lot of his resignation surprised me. And the computer says I'm +7 here. So, problem is, if you go here or here, I can take your queen, then take your knight with a fork. Yeah. So, okay, so I thought he would play king E3, but he chose to resign. And the king E3 I think gets mated, but I wouldn't resign. I play, it's a blitz game. I play king E3. I would never consider resigning. Now in a tournament game, I probably would resign, but not in a blitz game. After king E3, probably every move wins. Like even queen C7, threatening rook E8 check. Man, that looks harsh. Probably have like mate in 2 also. But anyway, he resigned, which surprised me, but he was like furious with how the game was going. He just wanted the game to end. Now, by the way, for those of you who are confused, actually we were brilliant tacticians. They were like, he was intoxicated. When he resigned early, that was correct. And when I never resigned, as you may have noticed, that was also correct, because I was ahead in the match. And the match is timed. So if I'm ahead in the match and the game never ends, I win the match.
Fewer games.
If he's behind in the match, he has to start winning games. So there's actually one game in the match where I just didn't move anymore because I was lost. So I just waited and then I moved. I was trying to have that game go a long time so there'd be fewer games. I've watched a lot of death matches and I'm still alive. So, okay, next. Hey, pay attention over there. Okay. All right, next game. Now he actually won a game, but it was 1 million moves, as you can see, right? Okay, and I played one of my favorites, B3. Okay, this game. And there was a lot of exchange sacrifices this game, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Okay, and then I didn't realize how bad this game was until I looked at it with an engine, and then I was ashamed. Okay, so here it's equal-ish, and he blundered, F5's not so good. I made a really good move here, really good. And it's hard to find, but not for me, because I teach it all the time. It's one of my teachings. Always, and there's a lot of always, there's one that applies here. I can't play bishop F1, I can't play bishop F8, I can't play king B1, but I can do something. Always retreat.
Four,
Always retreat. Whose turn is it?
bishop C4.
Bishop C4. Good job, F1. Yeah. How do you defend your knight? He made a bad move here. Although, wait a minute. Yeah, I think the computer's, yeah, it is bad. Maybe he should play bishop E7. He played here, and I missed a really strong move. I didn't see it. I was so focused on his knight, I just forgot about the rest of the stuff. So, in this position, he's protecting a square that he's not protecting here. And I teach that too, but I forgot. You!
Knight G5.
Correct. Yeah, knight G5 is really strong, which obviously here is not so strong, because it's hanging. Yeah, now, if you turn the engine on, knight G5, winning, right? Yeah, but I didn't see knight G5. I would have played knight G5 if I had seen it. Yeah, I played E4, which is not good. Okay, and this is like equal, it says. Okay, and then, oh, rook E1 is like the worst move in chess history. Yeah, but I mean, he's going to play knight D3, so rook E1's ridiculous. So I should play D4, which stops knight D3, and then the computer says it's equal. Okay, so the rook E1 is the worst move I've ever made in my life. Okay. And then in this position, he couldn't help himself. He sacrificed the exchange back. So I did sacrifice the exchange in every game, so I don't want to hear you like I play boring. Okay, that's actually bad. And here I missed the best move. I made a bad move here. This is very difficult because when you guys do puzzles at home or on the internet or your teacher tells you puzzles, they're never like this. So it's hard for you guys. So obviously, black's trying to crush white on the king side. He has a knight on F4 in front of my double pawns. If he gets his queen to G2, it's over, right? So what move should white make here? This is like a boring puzzle, not an exciting one. It's like, how do you defend? You guys don't like that. I tried to defend, but I made a bad move.
Knight G3 and then...
That's what I did, knight G3. Yeah. Well, what I should do is play king H1. Because then my rook can go to G1, and then queen G2 doesn't exist. And my rook can go to G3, and I'm solid. King H1, the computer says is equal. It doesn't say black's better even. Because my knight's on E4. My knight's pretty good. And his bishop on D6 is irrelevant. So this is a good knight. This is a good knight. This bishop, eh. And the G file's open to my king. So I should play king H1, rook G1. Yay. Okay. So I played knight G3. He played here. He's coming to get me. Right? Okay. Now, this is pretty funny. I played queen F5 because I don't want to face queen H3. And I looked this with the engine yesterday, and it said bishop takes E5, ignoring queen H3. And I was like, what?
You can trade.
So after bishop takes E5,
You can trade.
if he plays queen H3, what do I do? You.
Bishop takes F4.
Bishop takes F4, I have a better move, but right. And if he trades, and then plays queen H3, what do I do? Now you better find the right move here. You better.
Queen C4 check.
Queen C4 check and his knight's hanging. So you can't mate me. Man, computers are good. Right? So, I mean, I'm not going to allow queen H3. I was too scared of it, but I had to play bishop takes E5 and I'm fine. Okay, so I'm afraid of queen H3, so I went here. Then he did it again. Why do I lose to the same move twice in one game? Unbelievable. So he traded queens and did it again. He did it earlier in the game. He did it the same move.
Knight
Knight
D3.
Knight D3. Man, he's killing me with knight D3 every move. He plays knight D3 and then takes my rook and then plays his other knight to D3. And yeah. Well, I have to go here now. And then my game's horrible. Like, look at his knight. Now that's a knight. Yeah, and then, okay, I lost because this is just losing. Yeah. And I was always lost. But I don't resign, so the game went forever. Forever I was tortured. Down material, worse knight, worse king, worse rook. Horrible. And unlike the other end games, he actually won this one. And he was always winning. The engine said he's always winning. Yeah. Horrible. Yeah, now his kingside pawns are too good. It's funny, I won the exchange because we sacrificed the exchange every move, but it didn't matter. Yay, I queened my pawn, I'm the best. Look at me queening my pawn. Yay, and then I lose anyway. Aww. Right? Yeah. And then I resigned. I like in this position, after here he played queen g2. He's trying to get rid of my last piece. But I'm like, no, I need a piece. Yeah. Okay, and then I never resign, and then okay, and then I was like, okay, now I resign. Yeah. Question. Exactly. What? Oh yeah, okay. Okay, next game. So now I lost. Okay, now I have black. And what's this game? Oh yeah, I remember this game. Okay, so I'm black. And I've played this with black before. He played bishop d3 instantly, so he must like this line. This is a move. I just don't face it very often. Okay, and then the game was sort of boring until it wasn't. Okay, now, in this position, I've played g6 and e6. Now, what color square am I weakening? What color?
Black.
Squares.
The black squares, right? Or I could the green squares. Okay, and that's why usually you don't play them both. And he's like, oh man, I want to play knight d6 check. So he played d4, sacrificing a pawn, which is a typical pawn sacrifice. Then he gets the dark squares. Rawr! And he castled, and I didn't castle, which I've also lectured on. Now I just want to point out, during the match, Danny Wrench was making fun of us. You guys suck, you guys are the worst, right? Then on the break, he played 2200 and was lucky to draw. Okay, if you remember that, I wasn't there, but I heard about it. Yeah. Okay, some stalemate and somebody was up a queen, I don't know. That's what I heard. Okay, so actually our moves make a lot of sense. I'm playing very suspiciously, because I didn't castle and he did. I'm making 100 pawn moves, and he's sacrificing and punishing me. That's correct, right? See what he's doing to me here? You see all that?
Yeah.
Do I want that to happen?
No.
Happened last game, he played knight d3 twice. So I played d6 and don't let it happen, okay? And then we get this position. He checks me, I have to move my king. I like moving my king though, I don't really care. Okay, now I played the move, yeah, actually this bishop g5, bishop h4 is bad. Okay, so I play e5 and then g5. I play g5 later. And e5 is good because it kills his rook, he can't play e5, and it kills his bishop. And you might say, oh no, e5, you're weakening these two squares, which is usually the case, but not here. I got a pawn on g6, and I got two guys on d5. And so I take a pawn, then a pawn up, and then I play g5. You see how he has the d5 square, and you see how my knight's pinned? You agree? Now my knight's not pinned. Okay, now, what's the worst thing about black's position? You're like, there's so much wrong with it, I don't know.
The
Your
bishop.
rook in the corner.
My rook in the corner, my bishop on g7, and my king on f8. Man, the truth hurts. Okay, so I play king e7 because I defend my d6 pawn and want to get my rook out. Okay, and I did. Hooray! Okay, now you were complaining about my bishop on g7. Let's take care of that. Okay, so I played h5, and then g4, and then bishop h6. Yay! So now my rook got away from h8. You guys didn't like that. My bishop on g7 couldn't move. Now it's good. And I'm still a pawn up. Okay. So computer likes black. And it's a blitz game, so our moves aren't perfect. But, you know, they're okay. And he's avoiding trading queens because I'm a pawn up. Yeah. He has to play queen takes here, but he's avoiding because he's down a pawn. But his king is much, much, much worse than mine. My king has like 5,000 pawns around it. His king, not good. So he should have traded queens here, or tried to. But this is, now he's in a lot of trouble. Okay, now, all these pawns are weak, confusing his opponent. Which pawn do I want to take the most? I'll accept two answers.
F3
I accept that answer.
and H4.
Yeah. Hey, I attacked his h4 pawn. That was lucky. Queen c4. He defended it, obviously. Then I played there. What's my next move? I can move again.
Rook g3.
Rook g3 attacking his f pawn, and rook h3 attacking his h pawn. Yeah, see, everybody says I'm no good at chess. Now he was like, my king's not too good. So he avoided trading queens. Then he's like, wait a minute. this isn't good, let's trade rooks. You were taught, not by me, to trade when you're ahead. Incorrect. Unless you're playing me, then do whatever you were taught by somebody else. You trade bad pieces for good pieces. Here, white wants to trade rooks, so I don't checkmate him. I want to checkmate him because his king is terrible and mine is safe. So what did I do? I avoided trading. I put my rook on a good square. Now, where did black put his rook?
Rook c8.
Rook c8. Wow, good job. Yeah. Okay. He played rook g5. Boo! Weakening his back rank. What's the good of that move? There's no answer. There's nothing good about rook g5. It just weakens his back rank. Okay. So we played this, and now I want to play rook d2, and since I'm a grandmaster, I did. Oh, wait a minute, he's a grandmaster, so I can't. Darn. So what did I do?
Rook D1.
Rook d1. Now you know why I played rook d1.
Because you want to go rook d2 and pin the queen.
Yeah, so he played king h3, and now I wanted to play rook d2, but now I have a better move because he played king h3.
Rook H1.
Yeah, aw, poor him. Now, whatever move he makes, I play queen h2 mate. I don't care what move he makes.
He
Doesn't
only
matter
has
which move he
one
makes.
move.
What?
He only has one move.
He doesn't have queen h2 and king g2? You were like, queen h2, that's terrible, right? Yeah, so he resigned. Yeah. So that one, I didn't play bad that game. I played a little bad. Opening was suspicious. Okay, but there's a lot of ideas. We're playing blitz and we're trash talking nonstop, so it's hard to play good chess. Okay, this was the Dutch you were referring to, although they play the Dutch every game, so yeah, if you're referring to this one. Okay, this was a very funny game because I sacrificed a piece. By the way, were any of these games boring? Were like slight advantage, clear advantage, good technique? No, these games were all insane. Sacrifice exchange every game, sacrificing pawn, both of us. Sacrificing, blundering, so that this is the same. Now here, I sacrificed a piece, and then it turned out really good for me. It was just very unlucky for him that I blundered. He punished my blunder, but I didn't really blunder. It was an accident. Okay. So he played the Dutch. I played bishop g5 a lot. Okay. Is this the game I'm thinking of? Or this is another game. Oh, this is another game. What I was describing to you was something else, so forget it. This is a different, yeah. So I'm not playing boring. Look how exciting I'm playing, right? Castle queenside, g4, rawr. Okay, now if you don't believe me that you're like, oh, you are playing boring, you're a liar. Now, I will refute everybody who ever lived ever. Did I play a boring move here? As the Germans would say, ich don't think so.
Did you sack a knight on D5?
You bet I did. And you guys are saying I'm a boring, what did I do? I'm like exciting for the fans. Now what's funny is, if I may I? There's two players in Michigan you haven't heard of. Well, you might have heard of one of them, Bob Schiffoni, who's a poker player. Bob Schiffoni is a 2200 player, used to be 2300, and John Brooks, who's also a 2200 player. Bob Schiffoni is a boring, methodical, slow player, and John Brooks is the opposite. He sacks all his pieces and moves instantly. And they're the same rating. Okay. And Bob Schiffoni has a really good score against John Brooks, which is weird, because I know them. That's why it's weird. And Bob Schiffoni told me, when you play John Brooks, you got to play like a lunatic and play aggressive and fast and sack. He doesn't like that. He likes when you play boring, and he's the one playing aggressive and sacking and all that. Okay? And even though that might be confusing to you, I use that advice. When I play small children who are rated 2300 and they know 100 moves of theory and a dragon, guess what? I avoid the dragon and I play b3 and g3 and they're like, what? And then I win. And when I play old men who play b3 and g3, I play the sharpest, latest theory and they're like, what? I know theory from 1950. So I play my opponent. Now, is this guy playing like a lunatic or is he playing boring? He likes to play like a lunatic and sack all his pieces. And he's beaten a lot of good players. For example, Boris Gelfand in the Dutch. Okay? I've beaten Gelfand too, I guess that's our customer. So, if I'm going to play a guy who likes to sack everything and mate you, I'm going to sack everything and mate him because he won't like that. I did that a lot of games. I played really aggressive. He's like, what? I'm the one who plays aggressive and unsound, not you. But I can play aggressive. I was playing aggressive and unsound before he was born. It's true. In fact, it's really true. So knight takes d5, not the best move. The computer says I'm fine. It says I'm better if I don't do it, but it says I'm fine. It's a blitz game. Okay. And in this position, he played knight b6, which the computer doesn't like, and already says white's better. Okay. And now this will surprise you again. Normally, when I'm trying to attack him, I don't want to trade queens. But actually, if I have pawns for a piece, I want to trade queens. Because my pawns can queen in the end game, they can't queen in the middle game. His pieces are good in the middle game, in the end game I don't care, I just push my pawns. I'm not going to mate him. What am I going to mate him with? What's mating him? I got nothing, right? So I want to actually trade queens and get 7 queens. So I'm going to push all my pawns. That's good in the end game. So if you told me 3 pawns for a piece in the opening, I would say the piece wins. In the end game, I don't know, because you could get 3 queens. So let's get 3 queens. What did I play? It's explosive what I played. Yeah, c4. Rawr! Right? Rawr! I have a lot of pawns. Okay, now rook h6 is the kind of move I play that you don't understand. You were like, oh, Ben's trying to double rooks on the h-file, which I did do, but that's not the point. The reason he played rook g8 was very obvious to me.
H5.
Why did he play rook g8?
H5.
Play h5, and he has a passed pawn. He does. And if he plays h5 here, he was probably worried this pawn was hanging, so he played rook g8. Now if he plays h5, he's got a passed pawn. So I'm like, no, you can't do anything. I like to restrict my opponent, as you saw in the last lecture. Okay, and then back to, whatever I was doing. Bishop d6, and I played rook h1. If I attack his bishop and fork these 2 pieces, what does he always do?
Bishop f8.
Bishop f8, always play bishop f8. So I went here, he played bishop f8 anyway. The problem is if you defend your pawn, now this does win a piece. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it forks the 2 pieces. So he went here, and yum, yum, yum. Extra pawns everywhere. Rawr! Now, most of you would play c5, but then his knight gets to go in the center. So I'm restricting his knight. My pawn here stops knight d5. Okay, move my king up, it's an endgame. Now his knight's no good. And knight e7's a blunder. That's a horrible move. And you see how my pawn's on c4, and now it's not. I'm serious, see? You don't believe me? So what did I do? I give you a hint.
E4.
c6.
C6 makes sense, but my pawn's not on c4. It's not there. There's nothing on c4.
Bishop
Bishop
c4.
c4.
Yeah, the truth hurts. What does he do?
Rook g7.
He did something else. He resigned. Rook g7, rook h8. That's not good for him. No, so he resigned. Yeah. So I had a lot of pawns, and actually they took away the squares from his knight, and then he blundered at the end. Yeah. Okay, so that was one of my better games, I guess. I sacked everything. Then I lost the next game? What? This is funny. After e4, c5, a3, I already made a mistake. I probably should make a mistake on move 2. So you guys all know the wing gambit. Yeah? It's a gambit. It's called the wing gambit. So he wants to defend his b pawn first. So I played knight f6. That's not a good move, I don't think. Okay, and the computer says white's better the whole game. Man, truth hurts. Yeah, and this wasn't good for me. I had no space. Yeah, I got really crushed this game. He put it in H. He moved Harry. And then if you're at my last lecture, you know I played knight h8 here. King b1, always play king b1. Yeah. He moves Harry, then plays king b1. That's not fair. That's my rule. You see how my rook and his king are lined up, and now they're not. Knight f7, rook g1, and yeah, I'm just completely losing here because I have no space at all. Rawr! Yeah, I really got crushed, and I totally missed this move, which is funny. So I played b5, and I tell my students this all the time. When somebody moves, you don't have to stare at their move. You can do your own stuff. I just didn't see this move at all. Now, he's winning no matter what he does, but this is the most winning.
Knight d6.
Knight where?
d6.
You're so close. How could you be so close? How'd you do it? You're only one letter away. Knight f6. Uh-oh, here comes his queen. No, what a world. Okay, I can't play king h8 because queen h7's mate. So I took with the bishop. If I take with the pawn, I was afraid.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm afraid. Now he's threatening mate, and pawn takes bishop, discovered, check, winning my queen. You see what I'm saying? I was scared. Okay, so I took with the bishop. Yeah, and now I'm getting crushed over here. Yeah. And I'm just totally crushed. And I resigned here. And I think it's like plus 10 or something. Yeah. Man, what a beatdown. Yeah, it's gonna be plus 10. Yeah. So that game, he just totally destroyed me. Like, I don't know what I did wrong. I'm no good. So, I was ahead 4-1, and Danny's like, don't win by so much. And I was like, okay. I was very affable. Yeah. Okay. First I was affable, and then I was laughable. All right. Right? You kids agree? And they're like, what does laughable mean? All right. Nobody got that? Okay. This is the game I was talking about earlier. I gave a big introduction, and then I showed some other game. This is the game I was introducing before, where I accidentally sacrificed. Okay. So he's playing silly, like 5-minute chess. Okay. Computer says white has a big advantage, and then it says it's equal. Okay. So in this position, my opponent played knight g6, which I thought was a normal chess move. But actually, knight g6 has a threat. I just didn't see it. You see what the threat is? If black could move again? If black could move again, what would he do? He has a really good move. No, doesn't. There's 3 moves you look at: checks, captures, and threats. There's no checks.
G4.
There's 2 captures and they're absurd. G4 attacks my knight, and my knight has nowhere to go. And the reason it has nowhere to go is he played knight G6. So here, if he plays G4, I played knight H4. So I should have said, G4 is a threat, but I'm playing blitz chess, I'm trash talking. So I played E5, he played D5, and I totally missed G4, so I played here. And he played G4, and I was like, oh, I'm losing a piece. Turns out G4 is a mistake, and now white's better. But I was just like lucky. I didn't see G4. Okay, but I had good instincts. So I played bishop takes G6. Obviously, if he takes my bishop, then I can go to H4. So he takes my knight. Now material's equal, but he's threatening 2 pieces. You agree?
Yes.
Yeah, so what did I do?
Take on F7.
Then I lose a piece. Why'd you make me cry? Perry will make me feel better. It's poison. Anyone? Tough position. No, too hard.
Bishop h4.
Queen F4.
Bishop h4, hanging my
What
bishop?
about Queen F4?
What about it?
Oh,
It takes my bishop on g6 and I cry. Right? But you were right, you had the right square. Good job.
Knight F4.
Knight f4. Okay, now I'm threatening knight e6 because his pawn's pinned, and I'm threatening to move my bishop away. So he took my bishop, I did that. I'm threatening this, and this, and this. Okay, he played here, and the computer says white's better. Yay! So he has 2 pieces for a rook, and a couple of pawns, and his king is no good. I have a passed pawn, his bishop's no good, etc. Okay, now I did a rook lift, because Jen Shahadi would like that. Rook a3. And doesn't like rook f3. Then I did a queen lift. See, get my queen in there. Okay, now there were blunders galore. Some people said the match was low quality. They might have been referring to this game. This is maybe the worst game in the match, as far as like both of us. There were games where I played bad games, but this game, yeah, this game was really bad. Okay, and I'll show you why. Okay, in this position, I played check, and he played back, and I played f3. Okay, this is okay. Yeah. Okay, and now he's winning. Rook f8's, well, okay, everything I did was a mistake. This is actually funny that he's winning now, because he can just take my rook. So for example, just take. And then if I take his rook, he plays knight check and he's winning. I can't defend my rook and take his knight because he queens. So I have to just be down a piece. So I have to like take this and I'm down a piece. So rook f8 was a blunder and he's just winning by taking it. Instead he made the worst move in chess history. It's so bad you can't find it. I'm totally confused about this move. Obviously we're talking to the end, he's like, oh my, wow. So instead of taking my rook and winning, he played here. Now I don't know if he didn't see rooks go backwards, or he did see it and was confused, I'm not sure. So I just take it. So that was not good. I mean, it's good for me. Okay, and then I'm just winning because of my material. But, okay, and he resigned here, I'm like +7 or something. Yeah. So knight f3 check, hanging his knight instead of taking my rook. So at home, if you want a learning experience, if you can take a rook or give away a knight, now you know which is better. Not giving the knight away. Well, it's better for me. Okay, so that was a good game. No, it wasn't a good game. Okay, did I win this game? Oh, this is a draw where I was dead lost? Yeah. Okay, so here he played the theoretical bishop c4, bishop b3. When I say theoretical, I'm kidding. It's unknown nonsense. Okay, then queen h5, rawr.
It's almost like the
Yeah, and he was better later. Yeah, he's already better. Yeah, I didn't play, this is a blitz game. Give me a break.
You didn't fall for the mate and won?
I did not. Okay. And we got to this ending, which should be a draw, and I made a really bad move at some point. Let me see when I made a bad move. Like, really bad. I think it was when I played b5. Yeah, like b5 here is terrible. That's a terrible move. So I should just chill. And then I just chill, and it should be a draw. But I played here, and now I have two isolated pawns on the queen side, and he has open a file. Ah, horrible. Why did I play b5? Also, if he doesn't take on b5, I've weakened my a pawn, right? So that's just awful. So it's terrible, b5. Wow, what a bad move. Let's see how bad it is. Okay, so it says it's equal. b5, it's a yellow light, not a red light. Yes. Man, you hear that fan go on? That's when you know a move's not good, when the fan goes on. Okay, it's not as bad as I said, it's only like yellow light. Red light's the worst. Yeah. Okay, so b5 is a terrible strategical move. Okay, I'm losing. Okay, and I lose all my pawns. And they're making fun of his endgame technique, and rightfully so. Okay, and I lose all my pawns. I can't play bishop takes b3 because he plays knight takes c5 check. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Now I'm down 2 pawns. Yeah, and knight e6 is a mistake, and knight d4 is a blunder. See, and when I played bishop b3, I saw that I was tricking him. Okay, now what's the only good move for black? You defended your bishop, but I defended my bishop by taking a pawn. See, I have rook c3 check? Yeah, he didn't see that. So I think he was like, ah! Okay, and this is a drawn ending, except not the way I played it. Wow. Now here's where I blundered. No, this is, king e6 is okay. Yeah, here I should play a5, I think. Yeah, I should play a5 here. And I played this, which, okay, it's a blitz game. I can't take the pawn because he skewers me. Yeah. And this is a draw, and then I was losing later. And then I was really losing. Yeah, now I'm lost already. Yeah, the way to win is actually to move his king around this way and come in the back door. But he never did that. He never even tried doing that. He has to defend his pawn with his rook, and then his king just walks in and he wins. Yeah, that's the way to win. And he didn't think about that. He kept moving his king backwards. Yeah. So moving his king up always wins, but he never did that. The reason is, I can't do anything about it. Like, if he wants to get his king over here, that's a good idea, right? Well, how's he going to do it? He's either going to go this way, or he's going to go this way. Well, the way he went doesn't work, but he didn't go the other way, so you just draw. But I can't do it. If he goes this way, I can't do anything about it. But the way he did play, I can do something about it. So people are laughing at us, but it's actually very difficult in blitz chess to find the right plan here. So he couldn't get his king over there because my king stops him. Yeah, And he gave up again. He played here. He's going the wrong way again. Yeah, and this is just a terrible blunder, rook f7. Yeah. The way to try to win is to move your king this way. And then he's winning, right? Yeah, that's what he should be doing the whole time. And this is a horrible blunder. Now I just take his pawn. Yeah. And here, he made a worse move. He should move his rook this way. If I take his pawn, it's a losing king and pawn endgame. But he played here, so this is the dead draw. Yeah. Then when I drew, everybody was mad because he was so winning. But, yeah. Yay, check forever. Yeah, and draw. What if the computer says white's better? Oh man, a pawn up for nothing and it's still equal. Wow, harsh. Yeah. So I should have lost that game. Now what's good is all the losing endgames I had, and I drew them, some of them, they took 80, 90, 100 moves, so the match had fewer games, so I win. When you're ahead, you want long games you don't lose, right? Now, for you guys in the audience, let's say you're winning the tournament and you have 4 out of 4, and nobody else has any points. They have 3 and 2.5. So in the last round, if you draw, you get clear first, right? So sometimes the situation changes. You want a long game, you want a short game, you want to draw, you want to win. And in Columbus, Ohio, you reminded me of this earlier. Was it you? No, it was Alan. Alan told me a story that he was in Columbus, Ohio in 1998. And in, what year was it? In 2008? Probably 2008. I went to Columbus, Ohio. Man, I could be like 10 years off. That would be embarrassing. You can go to my MSA and find out. I'm playing in a tournament in Columbus, Ohio. I'm the highest rated. And the second highest rated is a doofus or something. So I have 4 out of 4. Good score. And my opponent had 3.5 out of 4. And nobody else had 4 or 3.5. So if I draw, I'm clear first. Automatically. You see why. Because I'm playing him. So, yeah. Okay. And he had the white pieces. Now if he wins, he's clear first. True. And he's 2200 and I'm whatever, 2580 or whatever I am. And I had black. And on move 3, he offered me a draw. And I was like, okay. And then I got paid my $900 and I drove home. Because I had to drive like 3.5 hours home. So I was like, oh, I can end the game in 1 minute and get all the money and then drive home. Like, great. Actually, we got Indian food. So, yeah. On the way home. It was good too. So, anyway, Taj Mahal on High Street in Columbus, if it's still open. Taj 2 maybe. Anyway, and the guy there was like, oh, I play chess. You want a chess tournament? Give us free food. Not all of it free, but some free stuff. True story. Anyway, the point is, a draw was good. In this match, a draw is good when you're ahead, and a long game is good. For him, a short game, get more games in, because then he could win some. So he was resigning early, and I was never resigning, and I was drawing this long game. So this is actually very funny. In this position, in a blitz game, or a slow game, I would never, 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 never give any of you a draw. And you wouldn't draw me either, I'd win. Okay? But it was correct for him to offer a draw. That was correct. Because if we play 25 more moves and it's a draw, that's less games, and he's behind in the match. So it's smart. I was like, why is he offering me a draw? He's a pawn up. But if he plays, if it's another 5 minutes, that's no good. So he's a smart guy. Everybody's making fun of us, and we're not as dumb as you think we are. Okay, this is very funny, and there's a lot of stories. We'll finish on this. Okay, as you all know, well, you know, they don't know. I'm a big proponent of the Chigorin. And in fact, there's a picture of Chigorin in that room, in the tournament room, playing Steinitz, obviously. You know what I'm talking about? No? Okay. You do?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chigorin was the only good player in Russia, now they're all good. And this was in the 1800s. And there's the Chigorin defense, which is this. That's the Chigorin. As you know, I play the Chigorin often, and I have a lot of games and a lot of books. I didn't write the books, but somebody else did. And when he played the Chigorin, I'm like, oh, I play the Chigorin, that's no good, because I play it, I know it's no good. Right? And I have white in the Chigorin, I like having white in the Chigorin more, because it's good for white. Okay, and I play with black anyway, because what are you going to do? I got to do something. Right. All right. Now, when he played it, and we were trash talking, he was like, oh, this is horrible, I'm getting crushed. So it's like sort of funny. He's like, why do you play this opening? Now, just recently, was it a DVD? He released a DVD on this opening. this opening, the guy I'm playing. And he quoted one of my games, the DVD is a game, and there's a review done, an article by David Anastasio, who lives here. He's a player on a good day. And he says, oh, we opened the chess center. So I like the way he made a DVD where he features my game, then he plays it against me and gets totally crushed. So probably he shouldn't have played it. Also, he doesn't like it. He was just playing it to play something different. You remember he was playing the Dutch, and he was playing E6. Now he decided to play this. Okay? And I have the lines that I like with white. This is theory. Bishop takes F3, I actually don't know. I think knight takes D5 is more common. Okay. And you notice that white has a big center, and white has two bishops. So if I turn the engine on, it doesn't like black. It says white's like almost winning. Yeah. Okay, now, when you play the Chigorin and you give everything away, the two bishops in the center, you actually have to be very calm and relaxed and hope the isolated pawns, the backward pawn, and the doubled pawns give white some trouble. But usually Chigorin players, we like to play aggressive. That's why we're playing knight c6. So we can't help ourselves. So he played e5, which is a bad move, but you got to play aggressive. It's a Chigorin. d5, queen b3, threatening this. Man, the truth hurts. I can threaten it again. But if you play b6, you're giving all the white squares away. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? It's harsh. So he sacrificed a pawn. Okay, he's attacking my queen. And then he's like, where's my compensation for the pawn? Where'd it go? Right? So that's because there is none. Queen b8 is a really bad move. Queen b8 undefends his knight, and he's trying to play for an attack, but he undefended his knight. So after bishop h3, he wanted to resign, because he's down a pawn and getting destroyed. But you can't resign, it's move 14. So, what do you do about checkmate? Now here's something grandmasters are good at that you guys aren't. And he's a grandmaster, so he's good at it. He made a bad move, queen b8, and he admitted it, so he played.
Queen d8.
Yeah, queen d8. He's like, man, I should have done that. But what do you want him to do? You know?
Something like that.
Yeah, so, okay, bishop e3. And he was like, this is the worst position I've ever seen. Why do people play this opening? It's funny. Man, rook b1, wow. You can't castle because your knight's hanging, so you play king e7, so his knight's not pinned. Rawr! Yeah. If I turn the engine on, you'll be surprised what the number is. How much do you think white is ahead? White's up a pawn, +1.
+4.
Ooh, let's turn the engine on.
Plus like 10.
Man, the truth hurts. They just made a lot of noise. It's really mad. Yeah. Yeah, now he's a grandmaster. He knows how bad his position is. He knows. He's been complaining the whole game. What kind of opening is this? Rawr! So he resigned here, which is correct, because he's behind the match. Now, c5 is hard to stop. It's so hard, the computer doesn't stop. It just lets you play c5 and win a piece. It's like, yeah, whatever. This is the worst position ever. I give up. The c5 wins a piece, you can't stop it. So grandmasters like an extra pawn, and grandmasters like two bishops, and grandmasters like to castle. So he didn't like his position, because he didn't do any of that. Now, he's playing the Chigorin, and it's like a fun match, and we're trash-talking, and it's blitz. But in the Chigorin, if one of you plays badly, you get crushed. If it's like a Slav, or a Grunfeld, or a Queen's Gambit declined, and you play bad, you're worse. When you play bad in this opening, you're like, wow, that guy lost in 15 moves, with either side. But it turned out, I like the Chigorin. I play with black and white, and he's probably not as familiar as I am, because I'm older than him. So I have like 30 years of experience playing this bad opening. So I know like what's good for white, so I did that. And even though people are like, it's boring, and Finegold's good when it's boring, none of the games were boring. What? Games, blitz games, they're all exciting, right? Yeah. Okay, now it was very hard playing the match while talking non-stop. And people were mad, why is Finegold talking? Because they were told to, and there was a prize for that. We were told to do that. It's a trash-talking match. Why is he trash-talking? It's a trash-talking match. What? I mean, why are we talking? Okay, and then they were like, Simon got really mad at Ben. Yeah, he was really mad. I mean, we convinced you guys he was mad, so we did a good job. Yeah, because like, for example, what was that stupid match, Mayweather and who? McGregor?
McGregor.
Yeah, they really hate each other. You know what they hated the most? Was getting paid hundreds of millions. They hated that. Like, hundreds of millions of dollars, that's terrible. Yeah. But if you think they like each other, you don't care. If you think they hate each other, then it's good. So the more that we hate, the more you pay us, right? So I have to name some other grandmaster I can beat and say I hate him. I can't think of any grandmasters I can beat. Man, harsh. I'll think of somebody I can probably beat and I'll make fun of them in another video. I have to think about it. Probably Lawrence Trent, but he's not a GM. So that's not as fun. Yeah? Lawrence Trent, you're no good. Rawr, you're the worst. I'll beat you in a match. Okay, now we can get the trash talking going, right? Yeah. Lawrence Trent's funnier than me though, so I don't like that. He's like the only guy in Britain who's ever been funny ever, except for Ricky Gervais, and that's it. Ricky Gervais, Lawrence Trent, and then we're done. Okay, and if you're John Cleese, don't sue me. Okay, see you next time. Class dismissed.